Hi, everyone. My name is Kristen Sullivan. Today, I am going to be talking about how we'll be reimagining Pinterest's culture. This is going to be a company-wide culture initiative, and we understand that it is going to be some big projects, some big initiatives contained into the two. So just sit tight, bear with me, and if you have any questions, let's wait till the end. So again, my name is Kristen Sullivan. I will be the speaker for today, and HR consultant here at Pinterest. Um, our agenda for today will be going over a brief history and analysis, going over some new initiatives, our action plan, and then closing with a Q&A. All right, so 2020 presented us with a bunch of big learning opportunities, to include us wanting to invest in leadership models who have succeeded under the same conditions as minorities. We want to review compensation and evaluate for fairness, and commit to reducing racial and gender biases at Pinterest. In the media, there was some allegations that came out towards us about how a C-suite executive was excluded from meetings, and when she brought to attention that she wasn't being paid in the same scales as her male counterparts that held similar positions. In addition to that, there have been some racial allegations about Pinterest and the culture here, and just like retaliation that has been brought up because of a Black woman like standing firm on like some of her beliefs. So we really want to dig into the complaints that have been brought to our attention and do something about them. So I do understand that big results require big ambitions. So with that being said, we have defined some new initiatives and key metrics that will help guide the way we transform our culture. So over the next 2 to 3 years, we do have some key projects that will be happening simultaneously. So we want to invest in hiring an ombudsman, so that we can really have someone in place who handles employee investigations surrounding racial and gender allegations, unfair treatment in the workplace. This person will have a set policy and procedure for how they handle all claims so that they're consistent. And this person will be someone who is anonymous, so to say, like, so employees feel safe about bringing and voicing their concerns to someone on our team. In addition to that, we will be conducting a compensation analysis, reviewing different comps across our network just to really understand where the gap in pay or the disparities in pay are, and thinking through how we will address those disparities. So we will be focusing on creating grade scales to really bridge the gap between gender pay and make sure that pay is equitable and consistent in how we're determining it across all of our roles here that we offer. Education and experience will be the main determinants, as well as a pay scale that we just follow for all positions in our network right now. In addition to that, we will also be doing managerial training on allyship. So this initiative will really focus on training executive leaders and managers on how to ally for their direct reports. There'll be more of a focus on really honing in on direct reports um, skills and what they're actually good at and want to do, and creating career trajectory pathways based on the skills and abilities that their direct reports are really good at. And then in addition to that, we will be doing some leadership re-imaging. So as I mentioned, there will be more of a focus and influence on putting, women of color, women, just diversifying our leadership, and those who are in our C-suite executive roles. That way there are role models for minorities who want to, take on the same career trajectory as those in leadership. They can go to them for mentorship and guidance on how to get to where to get into a position of leadership as well. And then lastly, we will be defining and implementing some OKRs and KPIs for inclusive practices. Mainly, we want to really incentivize managers to follow inclusive practices and embed that into the performance review of our managers, so that they're really, focusing on the training that they learn to like allyship for, and really just help their direct reports grow into um, roles and focusing on their skills and abilities, to help, just guide their path and career trajectory through Pinterest. So key metrics to help determine the success and progress of these initiatives will include, as I mentioned, the compensation review. Once we have um, scales to guide our decision making on how salaries will be determined, what experience and education is needed for each role, really creating job descriptions that are transparent and equitable, so that as we're hiring, everything is consistent, everything is equitable, everything is fair across the board. And in addition to that, I did mention as part of like the OKRs and KPIs, we want to measure managers' performance by taking a look at how many people of color slash women are being promoted under their leadership. How was their performance recognized? Basically measuring their allyship for their reports. And this will go beyond people of color, women. We really want to focus on marginalized groups here at Pinterest. And then in terms of the lead conversion rate for the ombudsman position, we're going to be taking a look at how many leads are actually being turned into, are actually being turned into an interview, and then a hire for the ombudsman position. And then we'll also be taking a look at retention rates for marginalized groups, people of color, women, taking a look at whether they improve, stayed the same, or decreased, to really understand how these initiatives are influencing retention rates here, and just to get a better understanding of whether or not these initiatives are effective in doing what they were meant to do. So strategic growth timeline. I did mention that these initiatives are really big and ambitious. We are planning for a 2 to 3 year culture transition, but of course, culture change is continuous work. Dismantling racism, understanding perspective of others, relearning yourself, and learning new things about others. That's all constant and consistent work that we'll need to be committed to throughout this entire process. So high growth spaces. Again, we will be sourcing for new talent, mainly the ombudsman position, and then putting those in marginalized groups, or just, our minorities in a position to get to leadership roles. There will be learning management. So again, there will be managerial and executive training on allyship. And then the compensation review will also be a big lift because we're transforming the way we determine the way salaries are offered. We're transforming the way we really consider education and experience and how that plays into, how you will be, how your salary will be determined basically, and who will be, I guess, eligible for a role that is available. Key growth markets, again, we will be committed to disrupting institutional racism and marginalizing gender and racial groups. This is going to be our main focus, and we really want to commit to the change in personal and group work that it will take to really make this an impactful experience. In addition, we'll be doing pulse surveys. So pulse surveys will serve as a way to hear from our employees on where they want to support in this culture change, what types of changes they would like to see, or I would say, what types of ideas do they have to help like implement and really instill the culture that we're trying to create here at Pinterest. And then long-term purpose-driven bullets, I do want to highlight that, there will be new leadership models. Women and people of color will be promoted to C-suite executive level positions. They'll serve as mentors for other marginalized groups and minorities who want to get to the same level in their careers, and really understand the career trajectory pathway to get there. And then again, I'm sorry, we'll also be incorporating OKRs and KPIs into the performance reviews of managers, and incentivizing inclusive practices for managers. All right, so with that being said, I just want to leave you with this. Um, Pinterest's culture um, has called for us to make some big changes, and we are committed to building a better future together. Taking the first step to actually seeking change and how you can change was a big step. And I do want to thank you all for taking the initiative to see what can be done to change here at Pinterest. And with that, I'm just going to go ahead and share a survey link. I would like questions to go into the survey link, and to hear your thoughts on our plans to reimagine the culture here. Thank you.